Joe Cullen and Chris Dobey in the sixth game of the afternoon session. We know the lineup for two of the quarter-finals. Michael van Gerwen in the world #1 takes on the former European champion Simon Whitlock. Two unseeded players clash as Ron the Bomb Meulenkamp takes on the conqueror of the world champion Richard North. And Peter Snakebite Wright, he looks back and at it, doesn't he? Back-to-back ton-plus averages. It could have been a big ton-plus average if he'd taken his chances against John Henderson. But Snakebite awaits the winner of this one in the third quarter-final, with Mensur Suljovic, Mervyn King and Michael Smith against James Wade, providing the competitors in the final quarter here at the European Darts Open. Live from the Ostermann Arena in Leverkusen, Germany, it is the #7 seed Joe Cullen, a man no stranger to runs deep on the Euro Tour.
First leg, it's Chris to throw first. Game on.
But Chris Dobey will kick things off in this one. Dobey fresh from his second Pro Tour final just a matter of days ago. Paul Nicholson and myself, Dan Dawson, in commentary for this one, and a difficult one to call, I would suggest.
Yeah, very much so. There are lots of different things that we could talk about. Obviously with Joe's
100
somewhat stuttering start to 2018, but Chris is on the way up. He's had that Pro Tour final, like you say, and he's playing very, very well at the minute.
57.
Brimming with confidence. But I was talking to Chris this morning, actually, about Joe. And we were both saying how great it was to see the fighting spirit of Joe Cullen yesterday against Danny Knott. But he was in the corner and he came out swinging. And he showed real passion in that match. And it was wonderful to watch.
140.
Yeah, it was impressive in its own way, that victory for Joe Cullen. The average wasn't impressive.
121.
He managed to hold off Danny Noppert, come from behind and win it 6-5. Says a lot about him because he hasn't had a great start to 2018. Certainly not the kind of start you would expect from a guy so high in the Pro Tour Order of Merit, which is basically how well he played over the last 12 months.
Just a few darts at the moment that are hitting wires, but that is a very good adjustment from Cullen. When you're on 180, the only number that springs to mind is 140, but the first dart needs to be lifted a little bit from Chris. Doesn't want to switch around the board here. Look at that for an adjustment. He's gone the other side and done exactly the same thing as Cullen. Double 10. Is that a good guide?
70.
It may have been, but he dragged that one a little bit left. So, same equation for Hollywood. He's got tops and has to move. Moved the last time to target.
40.
This time he can't.
Jay require 10.
Looking to split it, because he likes double 4. Or at least he used to. One of the many doubles he was having trouble with against Danny Noppert.
19 darts for that first leg.
Second leg is Joe to
Chris
throw
would
first.
probably admit that he didn't expect to win that first leg, with Joe having missed a couple of doubles. But he has.
57.
It's a hold of throw, and now he can mount a charge. If he can adjust that first dart a little bit, just trying to find his ultimate range.
41.
Both very watchable players, these guys. They're not the quickest in the world, but they've got lovely rhythm to the throw. Joe Cullen just seems to spend,
43.
I mean, it's metronomic. He seems to spend exactly the same amount of time on each dart, irrespective of whether he's hit the target, missed the target,
95.
missed it by loads. It's just a very, very studied approach that he has.
96.
Really good question that a lot of pros were asked at the UK Open was, they had a certain sponsor that year that asked the questions to the pros. And one of those questions
99.
was, if you could have anybody else's throw, whose would you have? Now, ultimately, I'd want Gary Anderson's.
Oh, okay.
But at the same
93.
time, Chris Dobey's throw comes very, very close to me. The lines are so good. It's straight up and down. The rhythm's good. There's no real
99.
mega effort in the arm like there is with the Classens and the Rob Crosses. It's just so smooth. Says to me that his career is going to be very long.
180.
What a good lead that is.
67.
180 to leave double 16. You don't get many better setup shots than that.
93.
Joe
Require 32.
had problems on doubles in the first leg. No problems this time around for Joe Cullen.
Third leg, it's Chris to throw first.
It's obviously a
Game on.
different throw, but there's a certain element of it with Chris Dobey that reminds me of
180
of Adrian Lewis, because when he comes back to the board, just watch him. He's almost got like checkpoints as he pulls the dart back. He's got a little sort of stutter each time, so he's making sure his arm is in the right position, and it's check, 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 fire.
Pivot points.
Yeah.
60.
And you'll see Adrian Lewis doing that sometimes. He's not doing it as much as he used to, perhaps, but certainly when Adrian was winning major titles, it just seemed to be 1, 2, 3, they're all fine, and then go. And he's got a similar thing with Chris Dobey, where he's making sure that as the arm comes back, it's always in the right place.
41.
And then he can just fire straight down the line.
Next time Chris comes to the hockey, look at the dart, though. The dart doesn't move. Whereas with Adrian, when he was winning world titles, his dart was almost pointed to the sky,
and then
he would
it,
corkscrew it in his hand, then throw it, and it would flip in the air. But with Chris, straight back and forward, the dart does not deviate one little iota.
140.
When Adrian was playing his best, I feel that he was pointing that dart more to the sky. It's not as pronounced now, and maybe that's just one of the little things that he could look back on and potentially replicate.
80.
Well, he's left 80 again, Dobey. He couldn't take it out in the first leg. It's going to be exactly the same route he'll attempt. There's loads of room to the left-hand side.
60. Joe, you require 108.
It's about as frustrated as Chris Dobey gets, because that temperament of his is a very, very good asset. Double 16 again for Cullen.
92. Chris, you require 20.
Oh, it's very, very even, this, right now.
Game shot in the third leg.
Nip
Chris
and
Dobey.
tuck.
Fourth leg is Joe to throw first. Game on.
Yeah, he doesn't hang around, Chris, either. I noticed against Wayne Jones on Friday that Wayne Jones was almost bamboozled by the time it was taken Chris Dobey to take care of him and retrieve the darts and get back to the hockey.
81.
Of course, a new look for Joe this year.
140.
He's been wearing a lot more hats this year.
He has been wearing a lot more hats. Well, it'll get cold, doesn't it? Particularly lately.
100.
Never seen so many dart players playing in hoodies and hats and all sorts of stuff. The UK Open. It's like wandering around a branch of millets. Hiking gear all over the place.
New range of darting hoodies, perhaps.
Oh.
I'm a big advocate for someone designing a dart
91.
shoe. We'll come back to that. Tops for a very good 11 dart leg. He'll take a 12.
71.
He's in no trouble though, so no stress.
No stress, but they are frustrating those, particularly when you get a perfect marker.
100.
But when you're on tops after 10 darts, you think, well, I'm playing well here. The only person who can dud this up is me, and he's missing doubles. He's had a good think there. He didn't want to leave double 5, and he does like the bottom left corner. So
100.
I think that was a good bit of ball management. That.
You know what? I'll come back to that in a moment, because he may have learnt from Danny Noppert.
Game shot on the fourth leg. Joe Cullen.
Or learned from his game against Danny Noppert, because he had a problem. I think he was going for double 4 and he missed inside. He's going for double 2, missed outside, and Noppert wasn't even on a finish. And he thought, I'm going to bust this, but his arm was already going. And he thought, I'll just bust it. Oh, hang on, he's gone. And he missed inside the double 2, left himself on double 1. He got in all sorts of problems. But he's just taken a moment there. He's had a look at Chris's score, and it was the right decision.
140.
Shows a bit of confidence as well, because
58.
someone who is really low on confidence and basically near the bottom, they would have gone for the double 10 and just hoped it had gone
140.
in. But then when he starts
end
splitting,
it as quickly as possible. I just don't want to be having another visit in this left.
he backed himself there, Joe, and he executed it perfectly.
123.
That says to me that the confidence is starting to metastasize a little bit and just come together.
And that's a good marker as well.
And
that one is used by Chris Dobey, and it's a 12 dart leg. And the man from the northeast.
174.
Never been to Bedlington in Northumberland, Dan?
I haven't.
You haven't lived until you've been to Bedlington.
48.
What are the premier attractions of Bedlington apart from watching the Dobey clan play darts?
Well, you've just listed it.
Ah, okay. Well, it's still pretty good.
100.
Netherton Club is where he plays a lot of darts. Does play in the Blythe League on a Wednesday.
140.
Likes to play local stuff as well, Chris, just to have a bit more of a less intense game of darts. He understands that concept. And that's something that his dad's done for the last 20 odd years.
Well, I mean, that's where he's learnt the game, isn't it? He only came to PDC darts
45.
not late, but too late for the development tour. Yeah, no need to go 20 in bullseye with Dobey not to finish. And we've seen the last 3 legs or so, these guys holding their throw under no real challenge from their opponent. Putting in strong legs on their own throw, not particularly good ones on their opponent.
128.
Although
32.
that keeps Dobey interested in
Yeah,
this.
Sean the
Not for very
leg.
long.
Show Cullen.
That's why we're seeing the averages here in the sort of low 90s region, because we're seeing a good leg and a poor leg. And a good leg and a poor
134.
Go back to what you were saying about Chris Dobey joining the tour in his mid-20s.
134.
That is part and parcel to do with the fact that there is no real youth system or youth development in the northeast of England. That is going to change. I have been told that the Junior Darts Corporation, the JDC, run by Darren Barson and Steve Brown, that they are looking to put a JDC event up in the northeast to get the talent out of the bedrooms and on the ockies in their houses to find the next Chris Dobey, which is very encouraging, because when we were kids there was nothing.
Yeah, certainly is encouraging. This is encouraging for Dobey. Double 16 it is.
90.
Just misses inside now.
170.
Might need something like this. Not going to happen. Not this leg. But so far we've seen 6 consecutive holds of throw. Double 8 will make it 7. And what we thought was a difficult one to call
Game shot on the 7th
is
leg.
looking that way.
8th leg is Joe to throw first. Game on.
It's one of those games where you don't want to have a sip of your cup of tea, because A, you might miss something,
135.
and it just feels intriguing. You don't want to take your eyes off it. There's every possibility of something special about to happen.
Yeah.
That's got to be a 180.
140.
I pulled it.
Well, the averages, they started in the high 80s and they have gone
100.
to mid-90s now, and it's been pretty much neck and neck right the way through. If you had a graph of these guys' averages through this game, they'd have gone up pretty much identically.
100.
And it's made for a very, very competitive game. And I'm still no clear to understanding who's going to win it, which does.
To hold and deny Chris Dobey a chance to break.
35.
One dart missed at tops. This could be the chance. 16 for double. That's no real help to find the double from there. But it was a nice open bed and he found it. First break of throw, and Chris Dobey is a leg away from the quarter-finals and a showdown with Peter Snakebite Wright.
He said on Friday, after a very good performance against Wayne Jones, that his doubles weren't good enough and he was going to spend a bit of time on them. And he has over the last couple of days. His doubles have been much sharper in the last 24 hours.
134.
And there you see that one slightly sluggish opening leg where both guys missed a series of darts for it.
100.
Then 16, 16, 16, 12, 13, 13, 15. Very, very strong stuff.
43.
And that, probably the difference really. Joe Cullen had chances to break in the very first leg. He missed that one dart he had to hold there and make it 4 all. And it looks like Chris
95.
Dobey might be pulling away. And closing this one out 6-3.
81.
I think Joe knows it.
6 darts from 169 is a good position to be in to close the match out. Ideally like a treble here. Not that one.
54.
So if Joe can find a couple of trebles here or a 180, that helps.
140.
Well, we've not seen a ton plus checkout in this match, but if we see one in the next couple of visits, it could prove pivotal. Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. 75 scored. Oh, left him top of the shot.
That would have been some finish.
Do you like that as a route?
Yes, I do. But right now it's double 16 for Cullen. And he's stolen the leg from out of Chris Dobey's pocket. And he's not finished yet as the rock star.
A break straight back for Joe Cullen. He had to dig deep. He had to show guts and grit and determination when he came through against Danny Noppert to win it 6-5. He's going to have to find more here against Chris Dobey.
100.
Go back to that 115. I like the bull for the first dart. It's just, it can be seen as a showpiece shot. Oh, great 180 on a pinhead. But when he hit the 25, the reason he went bull is because of the lie.
Yeah.
He could have easily gone over to treble 18 and double, but he felt the lie was so good, he used it, and then he had a clean shot at tops for the match.
How'd he hit the bull first dart?
66.
15. 15 bull or treble 15 double
Bull
10.
15 bull. Ooh. Does he think he is? Michael Van Gerwen.
137.
Does that on a weekly basis on the Pro Tour, doesn't he, Michael?
Wow.
Bull single shots against bull.
97.
Saw him beat Gary Anderson in his 27-game unbeaten run by winning a match bull 54 double 7 when he was looking at bull 18 bull. But anyway,
139.
Chris Dobey has left himself another big checkout, the 158 to close this one out. It's not going to happen, and Cullen is looking at the 74. The 74 that he was unable to take out on his own throw a couple of legs ago. If he can put that right here, we're going all the way. Fantastic dart. Fantastic stuff. Joe Cullen, 14 dart leg, and we are going all the way. Dobey has the advantage of the throw.
A respectful, youthful, exciting, tight, brilliant game will be concluded in this leg. And I don't know about you, Dan, but I could watch these two play darts all day.
I would love to watch this game go on, because the averages have just gone up and up and up. They're up to 96 and a bit, nearly 97 now. The last time these guys met was only in February, and Chris Dobey won that 6-5, and it was his first ever win, and a bounce out is not what he wanted to see. It was his first win against Joe Cullen. In the previous 3 matches, including one just a couple of weeks before, Cullen had won convincingly, and what a time to fire in just his second 180 straight after Dobey's seen a 57 fall out the board.
But he's hit 2 of them there. What a great switch. Cullen's back in the 60 again. That scoring power that he had all of last year.
135.
3 trebles, 2 big ones, 93 away from stealing the last leg. And a great win. We'll be trying to leave a number that is very doable.
47.
Unfortunately,
93.
it's 147. But it's double 18 for an 11 darter. It's double 18 and it's in. It's 6-5 to Cullen in a classic here in Leverkusen. We love to see great darts like that, Dan, and that is a brilliant win for Joe.
That was magnificent. Joe Cullen has managed to marry the sort of quality that we saw all the way through last year from him with the grit and determination that we saw from him in the second round against Danny Noppert. It's a brace of 6-5 wins. Yes, he survived a match dart for a 6-3 defeat to Chris Dobey there, who was matching him pretty much dart for dart through most of that game. But the last 3 legs from the Rockstar was superb. 103 checkout, 74 checkout, and a 93 checkout under enormous pressure. And Joe Cullen will take on Peter Snakebite Wright in the quarterfinals of the European Darts Open. Great weekend for Chris Dobey, but a magical few legs from Joe Cullen.
It's the time to fight, right?
I'm not playing well at the minute at all. I felt I had Chris sort of where I wanted him early on, but I was missing the doubles and he was taking them out. And then I felt like I was chasing the whole game then. But I just thought to myself, you know, don't panic. You know, you're good enough to come back, and obviously I did.
Well, that's cool. I mean, yesterday that was the same actually against Danny Noppert. In the beginning you had problems with the doubles. At the end you were very, very strong under pressure.
Yeah, well, that's the best sign to be strong, isn't it? I'd just like to say, actually, you're far better than the guy yesterday. Honestly, we missed you yesterday, Elmar. We missed you yesterday.
So, see you later. Tthank you very much. Joe Cullen. Yes,